For years, Sask Native Rentals and Camponi Housing Corporation has been housing, teaching, and leading the way with accessible, affordable housing. In 2019, we began securing funding and planning for our most ambitious build to date. In 2025, we will open an integrated housing complex in Saskatoon, blending culture, support, and community, as is the Métis way. This is how we did it. Home is more than just four walls. It's safety, stability, and community. At Camponi Housing, we believe that everyone deserves a place to call home.
We recognize as well that our tenants have suffered from the impacts of intergenerational trauma, and that supports are necessary. In keeping our tenants housed, which is really our philosophy, we bring them in and we try to keep them housed. We're ensuring the long-term sustainability of Camponi because it actually costs us every time a tenant leaves.
We need to be there. We need to be the ones that are building homes for our own people.
Unity is an important part of the word community. And in order to end up building that strength, there has to be unity. When people work together, you get better results.
Founded by Métis leaders, Camponi Housing was built on the belief that housing is not just about shelter. It's about dignity, opportunity, and belonging.
Well, I think what makes it special, obviously, is the people and the ideas and that sense of like everyone's invested. Right? That we're all invested and we're all committed to making a difference.
My grandfather and his brother and Clarence started Camponi Housing.
It always seems like Clarence was always pulling me to go one way or the other. He came and he says, I'm going to meet again. He said, we're going to get a housing fund for the people that needed it. So this is what we're going to do.
The innovation of Camponi Housing would be the affordability of units. Looking at the housing crisis right now, realizing that the rent is so high out in society, and just being able to bring in lower income housing for everybody is a great opportunity to assist in the homelessness out there and the ability for people to afford the housing that we're currently building.
Camponi Housing provides safe, affordable homes for families, elders, and individuals in need. But more than that, we provide a foundation for a thriving community.
Most of them are young, just got married, or moved into, come to university or find a job in town. And that is their first option is, move to an Aboriginal rising housing project.
It just feels home, it feels comfortable, and the rent is affordable.
And we recognize we all bleed the same blood, we all want the same things, we all need the same shelter and food and love and care. That to me is why I think building a community is important, and to make people feel welcome and that they are a part of it and that they're valued and that they're treated with dignity.
Culture is woven into every part of Camponi Housing, celebrating Métis traditions and creating a space where people feel they belong.
I do smudging, I do sweat lodges, I go to powwows, I go to Matosh, I go to Red River Jig and stuff like that. Those are all important attributes of a culture.
I'm proud to be Métis because they're there to help.
With new developments like the Métis Veterans Plaza, we are expanding to meet the needs of the future.
That's what has always impressed me about Camponi and Sask Native Rentals. And I really think back to Bill Wardell. He's been just such a role model for me, and I was so fortunate to article under him. But I think what he did to work with the Camponis and the Traches back in the 1970s, that to me was real reconciliation before we even talked about it here as a society.
This project is a new face for Sask Native Rentals and Camponi, is a new face for our city, and for Métis people, it's a proud moment. But without CMHC providing both financial backing and grant money and funding to do something as unique as this, we'd not be where we are today.
So really, in terms of our missions, our values, and our goals, it's to provide safe, affordable, supportive housing and quality housing.
A home is somewhere where you can lay your head at night, having safety.
It's very important to have your own people running, helping your children.
Culture isn't just about traditions. It's about identity, history, and belonging. Culture is the foundation of community. For Indigenous families in Saskatoon, housing isn't just about shelter. It's about creating spaces where traditions, language, and identity can thrive. For many years, that connection to culture was missing.
Culture defines who we are. It's part of our identity.
When you're talking about indigenizing a program like that, that means that they're literally going to be changing the program itself. But to bring it down here at where they are, and how do you change it so it can be effective and be effective towards your people? And that's the cultural piece that Eric and I, we come in there. And I speak two languages, so does Eric. And we speak to Michif in the Cree with the white dialect.
For Métis families, cultural disconnection was a reality. Traditional housing options didn't support community, connection, or identity.
I was talking about my mother the other day. And when I was a kid, I was a really fast runner in my early teen years. And she used to send me to the Portage, just 3 miles away. I had an aunt live there, and some of my mom's cousins. And she'd send me there to go, visit, go find out how they were doing and all that stuff. And on the way home, I'd stop and visit other relatives, and I'd report them up. And now all you need to do is text somebody, and you can do that.
Métis Veterans Plaza at Hart Road in Saskatoon was designed with the intent to foster connection and community.
What struck me with Camponi is it being like a Métis-led organization. Just really wanted to connect with my people and provide like a support service.
There's going to be 6, but they're all built in facing towards the center. One apartment is this way facing the other 2 face, one's east, one west. In the center, there's going to be an area for the elders to talk to whoever wants to come around and talk to them. The daycare is right there, right beside where the elders are going to be. So I think if they incorporate it right, they'll have elders coming and going in out of that daycare. You see, the way we got it is that we endorse everything that they do as elders. We endorse everything that the Camponi housing does, because that's the qualification and that's the nature of us, and that's how we use our elders in our community, for the guidance, the support.
Why is Camponi's housing important? I firmly believe that it's great because this is our home. This is our land here.
By ensuring that culture is embedded in Métis Veterans Plaza's design, Camponi is making sure that Métis traditions are not just preserved, but celebrated in daily lives. Our tenants should feel supported in expressing their culture in their home and community with Camponi.
They feel loved, they feel owned, they appreciate life a lot more. Just knowing that they're given this support and they're not having to deal with it on their own.
When you have that connection and that sense of culture, it also gives you a sense of identity and knowing who you are, what your values are, and how you want to live your life.
With a growing Métis population and limited housing, Métis leaders stepped up to create solutions.
In the 1960s, you look at the city of Saskatoon, and things were changing. A lot of people were moving into Saskatoon. They didn't have accommodation. If they moved in, it was usually to stay with a relative.
That's how it came about 50 years ago. The fact that they didn't have their own housing. They came back from the war, a lot of those people, and I think it's important for us also to look after our own Métis people to get decent place to live.
There was always a shortage of housing. I remember the first time that the government gave us housing, I think it was 10 houses they gave us. That's to house 70,000 Métis people.
The story of Camponi housing began over 50 years ago when two Métis men saw a desperate need for safe and stable housing. What started as an idea became a movement, one that continues to impact lives today.
The nexus of Sask Native Rentals goes back to the vision of the Camponis and Clarence Strachey and Bill Wardell. And this was about trying to get some houses because the Camponis they were veterans and they had come back from the war, and they had realized that a lot of the Métis folks and Indigenous people had problems with alcohol.
He was fortunate enough to get by and help himself. So he drew in others like Ron Camponi, Tony Camponi, the Van Dale brothers, and Nora Cumming to help them formulate ideas on what they can do for these people.
In the 1970s, Métis in Saskatoon faced discrimination, overcrowding, and housing instability. Two men, Clarence Strachey and Ron Camponi, decided to change that.
So my first involvement was working with Bill to get the Government of Canada to help us out of a jam. Really, our condition of our appliances was so poor that it was tough to rent units.
In 1974, Sask Native Housing Corporation was formed to provide homes for Métis families. But housing was only the beginning. These homes became a foundation for stability, employment, and community empowerment.
Our role, or my role, was to find the government officials to hear our case, but it was Bill who put the idea into the heads of the political people that this is a change we had to effect, and that's how we got the funding to replace appliances. But Bill was the legal mind behind this very important social exercise, if you will, that created this province's largest Indigenous not-for-profit housing corporation.
He started programs about sobriety and stuff like that in the community. You know, these were people that were trailblazers. You know, back in the day, these guys rolled up their sleeves and wanted to do some work. You know, and because they could see it. That's in their genes. We've always been carpenters. We've always been, you know, some kind of a tradesman, welders. So even back home, when there was something to be built, the whole community would join in. And this is the kind of impact that these two brothers left.
The approach worked. Families that once struggled with housing insecurity now had access to stability, support, and opportunity. Today, Camponi continues the work that started over 5 decades ago, expanding housing opportunities and building strong, culturally connected communities.
Because we have 50 years experience in offering affordable housing in Saskatoon. And one of the things that we've learned is that, you know, without offering those necessary supports to our tenants, that we're going to see a constant kind of turnover.
Again, it's not just let's put up some apartments, it's let's also support the people that are moving into there, because it is more than housing. Like, we're trying to provide more than just a house for people. We're trying to provide that ongoing support.
With over 400 homes in Saskatoon and more to come, Camponi is ensuring that the vision of its founders lives on for generations to come. Camponi Housing goes beyond providing shelter. We identify and integrate solutions that build stronger futures. Innovation isn't just about technology, it's about new ways of thinking. For Camponi, social innovation means creating housing solutions that go beyond shelter, addressing systemic issues with long-term, sustainable solutions.
Well, I remember distinctly, actually, it was this innovation funding grant that we received from the federal government, and the trustees and the Joint Oversight Committee put a tremendous amount of work into trying to source other avenues or sources of funding. And it was when we finally received this innovation grant that made the project a go, or confirmed that we were going to be able to make a final investment decision.
Traditional housing models weren't enough. Too many families faced eviction, financial instability, or isolation. Camponi needed a better way.
So, and always thinking back to housing is one piece of the puzzle, it's not the whole puzzle. So what supports on site can be provided to our tenants to help empower them? What are our tenants wanting to see? What are our tenants saying that they need from us?
And so they went to CMHC on the social innovation, and they said, hey, we are going to create a sense of community here where everybody can be within the Hart Road community can be supported. And that is the social innovation. CMHC loved it, and that helped us bridge the gap. So phase one was a go at that point.
By designing Métis Veterans Plaza around wraparound services and a community-first model, Camponi ensures residents have access to support systems that help them succeed.
So I think, again, when we're looking to break down barriers for people, again, it's not just let's put up some apartments, it's let's also support the people that are moving into there, because it is more than housing. Like, we're trying to provide more than just a house for people. We're trying to provide that ongoing support.
There's some doors for elders, young families, 2, 3-bedroom apartments, and 4-bedroom.
Because people with big families need affordable housing too. It's not just your 2-bedroom apartment that somebody's going to put up for subsidized rent or for an affordable rent. People need more than that.
An Aboriginal daycare will be there, elders room, and there's exercise facilities, and the wraparound system will be there.
Wraparound Services provides an individualized and holistic approach to care. The team supports individuals and families, often those facing ongoing and complex challenges.
There's a whole community. We're not just here to have people housed in places, but we're going to be active participants as an organization.
And the innovation funding, I think what sets this project apart is that we're not just building an apartment complex. We're building a community that's got these services like a daycare, that's got community space for cultural events and a small gymnasium for the tenants to be able to use. And the idea of having these wraparound services that provide tenant supports and help to make sure that people are going to be able to stay in place.
The impact of this approach is already clear. Métis Veterans Plaza isn't just a housing project, it's a blueprint for the future.
Looking at the housing crisis right now, realizing that the rent is so high out in society, and just being able to bring in lower income housing for everybody is a great opportunity to assist in the homelessness out there, and the ability for people to afford the housing that we're currently building.
By prioritizing affordability, community, and long-term stability, Camponi is proving that social innovation can transform lives. Community is more than a place. It's a feeling of belonging, a support system, and a foundation for the future. At Camponi Housing, we build communities, not just houses.
This is not the kind of thing where we wanted to just build the lowest cost project we could. We wanted the most high quality, energy efficient space that incorporated a lot of the design features that our residents were looking for, walk-up doors and the solar on the roof.
So when we bought this project, we said, well, what do you need? What does that mean?
Members of the community were brought in, tenants and prospective tenants, to end up having input into what they wanted to create.
The very initial thoughts and ideas were that what they needed was something very different from just another apartment building. And that was amazing and it made me scared, I'll tell you the truth. Because they started adding all of these other things that were going to be on top of the housing. Space for elders, the daycare, offices of support, transitional housing.
Housing should meet the needs of the people who live there. Camponi set out to create a model that reflected what the community truly wanted.
The way it's designed to represent the community, everyone facing each other, it's a community. And then we have the Métis sash colors incorporated into it, and then we'll have the wraparound working out of there. So I think, again, when we're looking to break down barriers for people, again, it's not just let's put up some apartments, it's let's also support the people that are moving into there, because it is more than housing.
They needed a lot of 4-bedroom units, which are very, very different and very hard to find in typical apartment approaches just because of the way that an apartment is built, and very playful. I actually wanted it to be something that, for this amazing organization that has so much presence in the city and nobody knows who they are, a building that whenever there was a news story about them would be the building in the backdrop to say this is Camponi Housing, and it was colorful and playful. It's all the Métis colors from the Métis belt, right? And it would just be something that was really sort of spoke to how great the organization is.
By rethinking conventional design, Camponi maximized space, efficiency, and sustainability in every unit.
And so when I think about the solar that's on the rooftop of this building, this is 220 kilowatts of solar that's installed here. It's likely to me that we've got more than enough solar power to meet the electrical needs of the whole. So once you're able to produce your own fuel right from your rooftop, it really opens up a lot of possibilities for folks. And the building itself is also a net zero ready building.
Everybody has a front door, and everybody meets on the street, and everybody sits on their porch. And you really have a sense of who your neighbors are, and you create very walkable neighborhoods because everybody's walking out their front door.
That to me is why I think building a community is important, and to make people feel welcome and that they are a part of it and that they're valued and that they're treated with dignity.
With innovative design, sustainable energy, and a community-centered vision, Métis Veterans Plaza is setting a new standard for affordable housing. This development stands as proof that when we build with purpose, we create lasting change. The founders had 4 priorities: addictions treatment, housing, employment, and economic development.
My grandfather and his brother and Clarence started Camponi Housing 70 years ago. There was a lack in housing for Indigenous people.
When I first started in 2005, there was approximately 50 applications. Now we are well over 900 and increasing daily. So we are definitely seeing a number of families that are coming forth, more higher numbers, 3 bedrooms plus.
The Métis Veterans Plaza project is a story of transformation. It began with a need, took shape through community-driven innovation, and today stands as a testament to what's possible when housing is built with purpose.
We are going to create a sense of community here where everybody can be, within the Hart Road community, can be supported. And that is the social innovation. CMHC loved it, and that helped us bridge the gap. So phase 1 was a go at that point.
For too long, affordable housing meant simply providing shelter. Camponi wanted to do more, to create homes that foster stability, pride, and a sense of belonging.
Like, we're trying to provide more than just a house for people. We're trying to provide that ongoing support.
With wraparound services, culturally inclusive spaces, and community-first design, Métis Veterans Plaza isn't just a place to live, it's a foundation for a stronger future.
We want to offer more than just housing to those tenants who want to accept those supports from us or from others within the community.
With innovative planning and a commitment to community, Métis Veterans Plaza is proving that housing can be more than just walls and a roof. It can be the heart of a thriving, supportive neighborhood.